But,
Yeah, great. We're rolling.
okay.
Can you tell me the story about when you ate the spider? You weren't expecting that.
On the farm, no, I wasn't expecting that one. Yeah, it's when I did too. And it wasn't a little spider. You know these garden spiders, how they build these webs, like you go out one morning and there's a web that stretches from one part of your yard to the other, and there's a guy living in the middle. Well, Coco and I were on a farm when we first came to Austin. Well, we were on that farm for 14 years, and I came out on the deck one night, and I was just looking at the stars, and I had a Ritz cracker in my hand with some cheese on it or something. I was looking at the stars, and I just went. It was a spider. I ate the damn spider. And I took most of it down. That was awful.
It was a huge spider.
It was a huge spider. Yeah. It was a
spider on a cracker.
Yeah, man, spider on a Ritz. Nothing tastes better than a...
What was the song? Something at the Ritz?
Oh, yeah. That was in...
Sorry, but Spider on the Ritz.
Yeah, Spider at the Ritz. Anyway, that was out of the blue.
Because the reason it came up is because when you looked at the your harmonica, your harp, you opened it up and you're like looking for spiders.
Yeah, you never know. It's been sitting around for a while. I haven't played it.
Right. Well, okay. Well, thanks for that little story.
Funny. What else have you got, Coco? What else are you going to surprise me?
How about the band? Can you talk about the band? Levon,
those guys. I love that band. And the Wait. When I was with Delaney and Bonnie and Friends, I was living up at John Garfield Jr.'s house. Bobby Keys had the guest house up on top, and that's where some musical pieces went down.
Who's John Garfield Jr.?
What?
John Garfield Jr. Who is that?
He was an actor, in Hollywood, and this thing was up on Libby Way, I believe it was. Old dear friend of mine, Mike Visseltier, wound up with that house, and but what was your question again?
The band, Levon.
Oh yeah, that's where Bobby Keys turned me on, because he was always playing stuff, and he turned me on to the Wait and all. Oh man, and Garth Hudson, so I was influenced by greatly, and I'm sure Garth doesn't know it, but from some of the stuff he was doing, it really was inspirational to me, and up Cripple Creek and everything. That's my painting called Cripple Creek, so it has made an impact on me that's lasted a long time, 30-something years, And I fortunately became friends with Levon over the years, seeing each other here and there, and on this show here, on that record there. As a matter of fact, on the our first record together, All Night All Stars, Levon Helm was a drummer on it. And I remember he and Amy, it's his daughter, she drove him from Woodstock straight down to Nashville, nonstop, Levon just smoking all the way.
They drove from California all the way. They were exhausted. They went.
Was it California? I thought it was Woodstock.
No,
Northern California. Hell, that's even worse.
Yeah.
Just the ride from California, period, whether you get to stop over or not, it's not a great ride. When it gets that long stretch of no man's land, So what's the point? They don't even have a skip over bridge,
So yeah, you've known knew Levon.
For a very long time, and Rick Danko and I got to know each other in New York at the Bottom Line, and we were both still roaring, okay? So that's as far as I'm going to take it, you know. And Ronnie Hawkins was on the bill, and Odanko, he had a couple of cigarettes going at the same time, you know. And he was smoking them both, too. But this is backstage. But I met Ronnie Hawkins that night, and he gave me a T-shirt with a hawk on it, you know. And I don't know for the life of me what happened to that shirt, that T-shirt.
Well, you still had it when we first got together. I don't know. You may have given it to someone.
Probably, you know.
You do?
That's what I had to wait. Well, we came to Austin, and everybody was dressed like they got, you know, dressed in a closet in the dark. And I figured, you know, if I could do my best to spruce up, you know, some of our friends, you know, I thought they looked great. They just needed a shirt. So I would bring them a shirt every time I would play. I'd come and give somebody a really nice shirt to wear. I think everybody kind of got tired of it and started shining up on their own, you know. But,
so, did you ever record with any of these guys except for Levon?
I didn't get to record with those guys. And they played up in Chattanooga one time as well. I opened up a big deal with them. It was my guy Handgun on bass, Barry Swain on guitar. He ain't around anymore. I think Jeff Lamb was a drummer. And the guys from Mississippi. We opened up for the band and them at some park, and the flying Elvises came out of the sky. 5 Elvises. It was funny, man. What a hoot.
So I'm sure a lot of people have heard the story that Eric really was in love with the whole band idea.
Yeah.
The Big Pink, and that's maybe, is that why he formed the Dominoes?
Well, that came along with it. He wasn't planning on forming the Dominoes until I got there, you know, and George asked us to put the band together, and we put it together. We'd been writing songs, but not with Jim Gordon and Carl Layla in mind. We were just writing songs. But Eric says that he wanted to do that. And I guess that's why he said I lived at Hurtwood Edge a year. Now, I wound up getting my own house and stuff, but I always still had a room at Hurtwood Edge. And I remember Jim got a place in Chelsea, but he still, you know, had a room at Hurtwood Edge. And Carl did never move to London, but he had a room at Hurtwood Edge. So I guess Eric's reckoning that we all was there for about a better part of a year, you know. And that was, I've heard it, I've read it somewhere where he said that, you know, he thought about that when he was putting together, we were putting together the Dominoes. He thought about it, but he didn't mention it to me, you see.
Right. So do you think that Layla and other assorted love songs is reminiscent of the band?
No, hell no. Nothing like it. But the way we put the thing together was reminiscent of the band. You know,
living in the same house.
The camaraderie, the brotherhood, all of that. You know, that was we lived together. You know, while we recorded it, we didn't show up from one country or one state or this and that, and we were all together. We were a band. The Layla album, the original album, sounds like a band. Sounds like Derek and the Dominoes. You know. It doesn't sound like an Eric Clapton album, although the new mixes do sound like that. And I understand everybody, finally when we got a stereo, we're able to listen to the remixes, and it's all guitar out in front. So that's why everybody's going on about Eric and Dwayne really big time, because that's all you hear is Eric and Dwayne on the things. They pushed that out in front, and they're trying to make it what was a band album into an Eric Clapton album, and it didn't work. It didn't work. Not for me, and I'm sure for a lot of people, it didn't work. It just hit me like that. I went, wow. I understand all these people, all these Dwayne folks going on about it. Dwayne and Eric and Eric and Dwayne and Dwayne and Dwayne and Dwayne. I understand it completely, because that's all you hear on the remix versions of the Layla album, trying to make it sound like a Eric Clapton guitar album, because you don't hear keyboards. You know, even the drums and everything is back there. All the guitars are pushed out in the front, and that probably wasn't the best idea.
Any day, we were just listening to that. there seems to be some percussion on there. Was Jim playing any percussion on that? Or
Yeah,
was that just...
yeah, he played some percussion stuff. It was really cool when he did his percussion because he played knowing what he was going to be doing a little bit later, you know. And he would get a couple of stools and, you know, set them up and put shakers on this one and a tambourine on that and whatever other little things he was going to use. And he would do something in... Yeah, and I missed that. Really hearing all that percussion and everything right in your face. You know, the original Layla album, you could hear every nuance of everybody and everything. You know, you could hear all the instruments and how they impacted everything, how they actually went together to make movements, you know, like orchestral movements, you know. Boy, it lost it when they did the remixes. They didn't notify me, and I'm one of the producers of the original record. I wasn't notified to get any clearing on anything like that, you know, because I would have definitely said something. But yeah, all those remixes, everybody that has a Layla record, I had nothing to do with it, man.
You must have called on the gods because that fireplace just took off over there.
Oh yeah. Well, there you go. I could feel it, baby.
The Layla,
yeah.
The Layla gods are not happy.
No, they are not happy. You know. You know, I'm happy about stuff. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, watch that fire.
Yeah. I gotta tell you. You know, I'm glad that I didn't. That we haven't had a stereo for the whole 20 years that we've been together.
Yeah. I know one thing. We really appreciate it now.
Yeah. We finally. It's Coco's when she was a girl.
It's my dad's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Her dad sent us the better part of it. We just got some speakers.
And by the way, the speakers are awesome. They're made by Fine, who is Tannoy.
Yeah,
they're a Scottish
speakers
company.
are great.
And
Speakers are great.
They're awesome little speakers. They're the 301s, I think.
But it's kind of nice. I have a lot of head noise, so it's kind of nice for me to hear a little orchestra in the background, you know, going on classical music all day long. I love it. You know, so it helps with a distraction for what I have going on. But I have Meniere's and massive tinnitus and pretty amazing.
Catastrophic tinnitus.
Catastrophic, yeah, that's what they call it. But that's been my cross to bear for a long time now. I'm pretty good at dragging it.
So that's mainly why you talk very loud and you really can't hear through the noise.
Yeah, and you know, I can't hear like the whistle going on
The kettle,
when tea's ready, you know, stuff like that. Freight train, I already got one, you know. So I've got all kinds of noise going on up there. Not complaining. I've been given this. It's a spiritual thing. You know, I had to come to terms with myself in order to live with myself. And that meant finding out who this self is, you know, and what this is that's going on in my head, you know, this noise that I have in my heartbeat that I hear 24/7. And it's a blessing because I was running wild and out of control. I know it, you know, not in the streets, just internally, you know. And when this happened to me, it stopped me. It's kind of like, I met a man one time. He came to our home about his daughter, and our house, Coco and mine, and brought his daughter and wanted us to hear her. And he had one arm missing. And, I'm naturally, you know, I had to ask him what happened. He's a great big black man, you know. And I said, what went on there? What happened to your arm? He said, on the loading dock, I-beam took it off. He said, they tried to put it back on, but it didn't work, and so they finally just took it off. And he said, I call that my spiritual arm. He said, I'm always reaching out for something or to grab me, and I mean, this guy was as big as Albert King, and Albert King was like 6'2". And this guy said, yeah, and I'm reach out and grab and I hit the deck, you know. But he said, I call it my spiritual arm. And I told him, I said, well, if you lost the other one, you'd have 2 spiritual arms. He said, yeah. I said, if you lost your legs, you'd have spiritual legs. He said, yeah. And I said, if everything else went, there you go, you know. He got it, you know. I got it right away. And so this is just like giving me to learn to live with, you know. If he had learned to live with his spiritual self, so I've learned to live with my spiritual self and have an understanding of what I'm listening to. I heard a thing. I'm sure there are a lot of you people out there that go through what I'm going through. I mean, I've been operated on for endolymphatic sac. I had a tube put in endolymphatic sac of the cochlea of my left ear for vertigo. But I heard I saw a program once on the Hubble spacecraft. And it was recording all of these different galaxies and universes and stuff, the sounds of the universe. And I went, wow, I've got that one. And then it went to somewhere else. And I said, and I have that one and that one. And I have this one. And suddenly it was like, I've got the sounds of the universe are in my head, you know, and I'm good with it because I'm a part of that universe and I have an understanding of my spiritual self that this just gets me around. This is not who and what I am. This is what I use to express who and what I am. It used to be musically all the time. Now it's painting, and Lord knows what else it's gonna be, you know. I didn't plan to say any of this. I never planned to say anything. But I'm glad you asked me whatever it was that got me going on this, you know.